Hello everyone, welcome to your channel Data Science Studio, and today I am happy to announce that we have successfully completed 55 subscribers in 1 week. So thank you everyone for those who have subscribed, and please for others as well, please do subscribe the channel so that you get the latest updates on the videos. So let's get started with the today's topic. So today we are going to start with some important built-in functions which we normally use into our day-to-day work in data analytics or data science industry. The first important function is map function. So map is a built-in function that actually applies a function on all items in an iterator, and an iterator could be your list, a tuple, a dictionary, or a string. And map function takes two arguments. First, it takes a function which is applied, and then an iterable object which could be a list or dictionary, and it returns an object which is an iterable object. So let's see an example. So here you can see that I have defined a function which actually converts the value of x which is passed into this function by this formula. So x into 3.14 divided by 22, and I am rounding it off to 2 decimal places, and then I am creating a list. So I want to apply this function on to all the elements of the list, and to do so I am using the map function. First I have to pass this function, and then I have to pass the iterable object which could be a list. And if you run this program, you can see that the map B is actually a map object which is over here. Any object if you have which is iterable in nature, you can convert into list or tuple. Here I have converted into list because we use list not very often. So it applies the formula onto all the items. So map function is a very important function from data processing perspective. If you want to process a certain column based on the function applied which is doing a certain activity. Next example we are seeing is that how we can combine both map and lambda. So if you don't know about the lambda, please watch the day 3 lecture. We have completed lambda there. So lambda is actually a one line anonymous function. So what I am trying to do in this one, I have created a list and I am mapping this lambda function which is actually converting all the elements of the list A with the upper in the uppercase. There are two ways in which you can iterate a map object. One is converting that into a list, and another way is by using for loop. So here I am iterating through for loop, and I am printing I, and then end equal to comma. End equal to comma, what will happen is that it will print everything with a comma separated. So if I run this code, I will get a output like this, and this print map C is the map object. So this is from the perspective of map function. And then we have another important function which is filter. So what filter will do is, the filter function is actually act as a filter, and it is based on a certain condition, and it also returns an iterator. So map also returns an iterator object, and filter also returns an iterable object. So here we have a list of different flowers, What I am trying to do is, I am trying to do if the parameter which we are passing is a string or not. If is instance the data type is string, then it will consider, or else it will not consider. So here I am passing a filter function followed by the function which I am creating over here, and then the list. So if you run this code, it will only take the string objects from the list. If it is a mixed list, it will still consider only the string objects, and it will create a filter object. So filter object is useful in scenarios when we want to select a particular data type, or we have to filter data based on a specific condition. So this is also an important built-in function from data pre-processing perspective. And when will be having our sessions on exploratory data analysis and data pre-processing, you will be seeing how it can be applied into real time. Next function, so again there is another filter function. So I have a list over here, and what I am trying to do is, if the number is divisible by 2, and if modulus of that number, so modulus means remainder. So what does modulus mean? Modulus means remainder. If the remainder is 0, then it is a even number. So I am from this list, I am filtering out just even numbers. So here you can see that I have just got all the even numbers. And again, the filter B is actually an filter object which you can iterate through it, or you can convert that into a list. Next function is reduce function. So what reduce does is, it processes a sequence of elements into a single value, and the reduce function does not return an iterable object. Unlike map and filter, it returns a single value. So here now there are some methods or libraries which we have to import if we have to access the specific functions. And if we want to import any library, we use the import function followed by the library name, and you can provide some alias. So I am importing this func tools which has this function reduce. So when it is a concept of classes, so if I have to access a class, I am creating this ft as the object. So if I have to access this method, I can use ft.reduce. If you are not writing this as ft, then you have to write functools.reduce. So I am creating a list, and then I am creating a function which is actually summing up all the elements of the list. So it is reducing this list into the function. So if we run this code, it will give the sum of all the numbers. So I have to pass a function, and I have to pass the list or an iterable object. So it returns a single value. Now there is another method which is iteration or iterable object. Iter method returns the iterator object that can be further used in iteration. So let's say that I have a list, and here I am converting that into iterator object. You can convert any list or tuple or string into an iterator object, and you can use next to print its next value. So here in this list, I am converting into an iterator object, and I am printing the next two elements. So it will give me 10 and 20. You can also convert into any data type. You can convert the iterator object into tuple as well, and you can convert that iterator object into list as well. So this is one more function, iter. And now in terms of usability from data analytics and data science perspective, map function is used a lot, and filter is also used, followed by other functions which is reduce and iter. So it depends upon our usability as well. Now the next topic we will see couple of programs. So what I am trying to do in this program is, let's say I have a list and I want to multiply all the elements of the list. So there are two ways to do it. I have shown you both the ways. The first way is I am actually using a reduce method, because reduce method applies a function to an iterable object and it returns a single value. So I am passing this o dot multiplication. So again I am importing another class, import operator as o, and this o has a multiplication function. So I am calling that o dot multiplication, and I am reducing the list A with multiplying all these elements. So it will give me the multiplication of all the numbers. Now there is another way by which you can multiply. You can multiply using for loop. So that's why I have told you, if you have to iterate over a list, you can calculate the length of that list, and you can iterate using the range method. So for I in range length of list A, I am multiplying each and every element of list A, and it will give me the same value. So you can see that in Python there are multiple ways to do the same program. So here also you will get the same program. So at least from programming and Python perspective, you should know at least 2 to 3 ways of doing the same program. And whenever we are doing programs or covering programs, we will see at least 2 ways to do the same program. Next program is, I want to find the square of all elements using map and lambda. So what I am doing is, it's very easy. I have created a list, and after that I am using the map function, and I am passing this lambda function, which is actually squaring it all the elements for the list A. So if I print mul A, it is a map object, and if I convert that into a list, we will get all our values. So you can see that it actually squared all the values. Now this is a important program which is often asked. Let's say that I have to count all Python program. I have to write a Python program to count prime numbers between 1 and 500. So prime numbers are those numbers which are divisible by itself, including 2. So 1 is not a prime number, 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number, 7 is a prime number. So we have to identify all those scenarios. So what I am trying to do is, I have specified a number as 500. So from 2 to 500, I have to find all the prime numbers. First, I am initializing a counter which will actually keep track of the count of the prime numbers, and I am iterating through each and every element starting from 1 to 500. And if I is greater than 1, because 1 is not a prime number, so we have to exclude that. If I is greater than 1 and I am iterating through another loop. So for example, now I have 2 because 2 is greater than 1. So within 2 I have to iterate from the beginning, and if I percentage j, which means in this case if 2 percentage 2 will be equal to 0, correct, because it will go in j range of 2 comma I, and I value will be greater than 1 in the first case of 2. Now let's say it is 3. So for 3 also, if modulus is equal to 0, it will come out of the loop, which means that if a number is divisible by any other number except itself, then it will come out of the loop, or else it will increase the count by 1. So here is the thing, if the number is divisible by itself, then it will come out of the loop, or else it will increase the count by 1. And after that I am returning the count and printing the prime number. So we have total of 95 prime numbers between 2 to 500, and let's see if we have changed this number to 1000, then we have total of 168 prime numbers. So in today's session we have seen the map built-in function, we have seen the filter, we have seen reduce, and we have seen the iter function. And all these functions, you should remember it, you should practice it regularly. And then we have seen couple of programs and different ways of doing the same program. So next class we will be starting with the concept of classes and OOPS concepts, and we will be covering 4 to 5 programs moving forward in each session, so that you get hands-on practice. So please like, subscribe and comment in the channel, and press the bell icon so you get the notifications of the new videos, and stay tuned and stay connected. Thank you.